fabulous shot.
And a very good afternoon to all our pool fans joining us. We're here at the Rio All-Suite Hotel and Casino. CSI presents the Predator WPA Men's World 10 Ball Championships. And front and center, Martin Daigle just going into his chair. He lost the lag up against SVB. I'm Jim White, very happy to be joined by Margaret Fefilova-Steyer. And,
hi, Jim. How
Margaret,
are you?
welcome, welcome. We've got a great match on store here for today.
Absolutely. It's going to be exciting. It's always exciting to watch Shane. And, you know, if you're witnessing the match from here, from the casino, you can actually see how many people are present right now because he always draws a huge
He packs
crowd.
them in, doesn't he? And they really don't have enough seats for when Shane Van Boening takes center stage. And 10 down off the break. So WPA rules, and I got caught up in this actually the very first day where someone had made the 10, I think, off the 6, and I thought it was a rack win. Not so. There's no early 10s.
Yeah, it was actually a funny situation yesterday when Alex Pagulayan was playing on the TV table. That's what you were talking about?
Well, that was Alex got caught up the same as me, and I was commentating that match.
Yeah,
so
he was laughing.
Just like me, he didn't know either. Didn't matter. Two shots later, he won the match.
So. Yeah, thank God that he had a shot on the 1 after they spot the 2 ball, the 9 ball.
Boy, this is a great start from Shane now. Just exactly what he would have wanted. And just because you don't know Martin Daigle, French-Canadian opponent, sat in his chair right now. These two have played before, and believe it or not, Martin has actually beaten Shane before.
Really? I didn't know that.
So last time they played up in Canada, it was an event, 11-10 he beat Shane.
Wow, I bet Shane is hungry for the revenge.
Well, I guarantee you, you don't forget losses.
Oh, never. It looks like a good start for Shane. The most challenging part would be probably to get from 6 to the 7, and then everything is quite easy from there. Got a good angle so he can just draw back 2 rails for the 7.
For those of you at home that may not know, Margaret, she's quite a player in her own right, so more than capable of letting you know what these guys should be doing. Whether they do it or not might be another story. But
yeah, definitely. It's hard to make a call sometimes, you know, because there's so many ways of playing the table. And
very true, Margaret, very true. As always, players sometimes see it a little differently, but
and also our camera angle doesn't show 100%, you know, how the players see it. Gotta take it in consideration.
Shane puts in a lot of time when he's in town here. He plays at Griff's, and that one front table, you almost see him parking there all day long practicing. If there's anyone that practices more than Van Boening, I don't know them.
Yeah, I think the 2 guys who are always there on the front tables are Shane and Tyler Steyer. They're always at Griff's, always practicing, playing matches against each other.
Well, he opens his account, securing the first rack. And that's one quick way to stamp your authority on a match that many expect him to progress through. He had a little bit of a scare in his first round, though.
Oh, yeah, he was down, right?
Yeah, he was. Daniel Gutenberger. He ended up winning the match 8-6, but he was down almost throughout the match. And then
I think the last time I saw, he was down like 6-3, I believe.
He sprinted home in the end, and when he was put under pressure, he produced the goods, as he has done so often in his career. He'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer, and arguably the best American player that's ever lived. Just depends who you act, I guess, or who you ask, I guess.
Absolutely, but yeah, it is very hard to argue with that.
He's making a stake to that claim, for sure.
It was great to see him win in the World Championship final last year. It was huge because the guy won so much, but he still didn't have this world title, but now he is It is complete. Seems like a dry break for Shane here. And now we're going to see Martin for the first time in action here.
First chance. You see Martin Daigle. Long trip down from the icy cold climate that is northern Quebec. Near Quebec City is where he calls home.
So many people watching, look at that.
And he's got a lot of experience too. He's been playing the game, owns his own business back home. So he's not a full-time player.
Well, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't play, right?
Oh, he's competitive, Margaret. Rest assured, they all are in Quebec.
I believe so. You know, even if you own your own business, you got to be competitive in business too. So.
He didn't come here to shop.
Absolutely.
Unlike my daughters.
It looks like he's hooked behind the 8. He's looking at it. Yeah, he's going to elevate and try to swerve the cue ball. Didn't leave much for Shane.
Yeah, that was an unforced error really from Martin Daigle there. He just overdrew the white and got it behind the 8. So
yeah, the 1 ball was pretty tough. I feel like he misjudged the table a little bit. You know, when you play draw shot on the new cloth, it just grabs so much, so it's easy to overdraw the position.
Quickly calling for his extension. He wants to think about this just a little longer.
Yeah, we do have a 30-second shot clock here on the TV table, and both players have 1 extension per rack. And after the break, players have 60 seconds to think about the position at the table.
Just left the edge of this too, enough really to be able to try and snick it into the right-hand side, but no positional rewards.
Yeah, it looks like he can see the edge of the 2. I'm not quite sure if he can make it. We'll find out in a second. It's actually really exciting to do commentary, you know, like to be on the other side of it. I remember myself playing on the TV table like a couple days ago for the Las Vegas Open women's event. And it's just a completely different experience to be on the other side of this whole setup. It was a great call, by the way, Jim.
Well, he had enough to be able to see it into the side.
Yeah.
He tried to make it in the side, but again, it was...
In shots like this, you almost have to rely on luck to get like a good bump, you know, with certain balls. And
now with him fluking the 9 there, if Shane didn't like this shot, he could have brought Martin back.
looks like he's going to hook him behind the 8 ball. I think he hit it a little bit too full. I think he left the shot for him. But once again, there's nothing much he can do position-wise. Yes, he can make the 2, but then what after that?
Bottom left as we look.
Great shot.
Well, I'll tell you one thing with Martin Daigle too, if you haven't already noticed, he's pretty animated. He doesn't hide his emotions, and you see him trying to will that cue ball past the 5, and this time it didn't listen. One rail kick and needs to be a little lucky.
Wow, he hit it very firm. Left the 3 ball open for Shane.
one thing about it too, Margaret, and you know that when you come into a match and you're a big underdog, and Martin is a big underdog in this match.
Yeah.
The last thing you want to do is let the favorite get away on you early.
100%. Just get him, you know, make him get comfortable with the table, with the setup and everything. The first few racks are so important.
Well, this is looking a lot like 2-0 to Van Boening early. Just what Martin Daigle didn't want.
Yeah, he had an unforced error, unfortunately, on the one ball, right, in the first rack when he overdrew the position. And now this tough kick shot on the 3. I can't say he did much wrong. You know, it was just tough layouts. He had to go for a very difficult 2-ball and then hook himself on the 3.
What I always find intimidating with Shane Van Boening too is just how calm he is around the table. It's almost like it's a stroll in the park for him. And you're out there sweating bullets and he looks like he's walking his dog.
Yeah, that's one thing about, you know, so many pros. They have the same thing in common. I feel like they have so many hours of experience at the table. And these layouts are.
And he's taking the first 2 racks, so he's doing exactly what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
Raise the bar.
Yeah, now he's just gonna focus on one ball at a time and extend the lead slowly. We'll see. We still haven't seen a lot of Martin, but I hope to see some good pool today from him.
So is he.
Yeah, I bet. You know, I have to admit it might be very intimidating to play in front of such a big crowd, knowing that all of them are rooting for Shane.
Yeah, good point too, Margaret.
Yeah,
very partisan crowd. So Shane just having a look around the arena. There's 3 convention rooms here, massive size. Over 300 pool tables. The BCA leagues are all taking part. And what a beautiful environment this is for all these amateur players from all around North America to make their way to Las Vegas. You know, see a lot of players they only ever see on television, only ever read about, chance to chat with them, meet them, get their photos taken.
Yeah, I believe they have over 7,000 players here combined. It's unbelievable. Like every time I walk in, it's so many people, so many tables, constant action. And what I love about this setup is that the amateur side is alongside with the pros, so they constantly keep watching them, you know, support us. It's actually pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's the grassroots of the game.
Yeah.
Another dry break from Van Boening.
And in the end of the day, you can't really grow the sport without the fans. So I like what CSI is doing, how they like every event that they organize, they have pros and amateurs play in the same building, right, or in the same room. So then they grow the fan base for the professional sport. It's pretty amazing.
Bank shot here, should drop on the 2 if he gets it.
But he hit it pretty firm. It looks like he has.
No, he lopped it against it.
Yeah.
And very good containing shot, though.
Very nice shot. Yeah, in you know, in the safeties like this, you really don't have to worry much about the 1 ball. All you have to do is to control the cue ball, because if the cue ball is behind the 2, it really doesn't matter where the 1 ball is going to end up. Let's see the jump shot from Shane. Oh.
Well, this is a chance for Martin to again loosen up that back arm. Miscue from Shane. But this is not the easiest layout.
No, it's far from being easy. I mean, the key shot would be really to get from the 5 to the 6, because after that, you can see it's laying pretty easy. Just connecting the dots till then. Oh yeah, he didn't really want it to get on this side for the 3. Now he made it a little bit more complicated for himself. Here's a key shot.
Just got to make sure and clear that 8.
It's a pretty big zone to get to the 5. You know, it's all about how would he prefer to go from the 5 to the 6. Would he stun it across 2 rails, or would he decide to go 3 rails with a top inside spin? There's a few different variables. It really depends of the angle that you leave for the 5 ball. Smart shot. What do you think? Do you think he's going to draw it back?
I think he has to. I think this is the big shot in the rack right here. If he can knock this in and land on the 6, he'll have done all the hard work.
Yep, absolutely. See, like, I really don't like to go 3 rails with the inside here because of the slick table. The spin just doesn't grab that good. Oop, looks like he's in trouble. Well, not really. Look at this. He has a window, a perfect window between 8 and the 7.
The referee came over to have a quick look at it.
Stun 1 rail. Go back to the 7.
Oh, this is just the sort of reply that Martin Daigle was looking for.
Yeah, but it's still not easy. These kind of balls are tough. He made it perfectly. Now it does look like all the hard work is done. Just gonna make sure to stay calm and composed. So you know how common it is when you do the hard work and then you miss the easy ball in the end because you feel like you did the job already and you lose the concentration. So it's very important to reset yourself and just, you know, keep focusing on your fundamentals and things that you have to focus on in order to make the ball and finish up the rack.
Well, if the crowd wasn't sure that Martin Daigle could play, they know he can now. Secures his first rack, 2-1 to Van Boening. But Daigle with the break in rack number 4. And we'll be back. Short 1-minute break. A very warm welcome back. It is the Predator Men's World 10 Ball Championship, WPA World 10 Ball Championship. We are at the Rio All-Suite Hotel and Casino. CSI has teamed up with Predator to bring you one of the best events you're going to see. Any world title event carries a lot of grain. And for that very reason, it's attracted 128 of the best players around the world here to Las Vegas.
Really nice break. I really like his execution. Like, you know, you notice how he went through the cue ball on the break. Really put a lot of power into it.
And finally poised right now, Van Boening and Daigle from Quebec City in Canada. Been a well-known player in Canada for many years. A little more traveled than a lot of the players from that province.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I was just about to say that if he managed this first few balls, it's gonna look like he can level the score and make it 2-2. But looks like he gave another chance for Shane to extend the lead. Here you can see his body language, he's a little disappointed. That was a friendly kiss.
Yeah, not too bad at all. This is the only pocket that really could have welcomed the 3. And Shane has gotten onto it with a little love from the 5.
Yeah, look at this. You know, they all say that, of course, hard work and, you know, playing well is very important, but sometimes you do need a little bit of luck.
Well, he could easily drop below the 5 and play the 5 into the top left corner, but I don't know, the way that he was looking at that almost tells me he doesn't fancy that shot.
Do you think he's going to try to draw all the way back?
And I think the fact that it was frozen on the rail dictated exactly what Shane
he had a good
opted
angle.
to do.
Yeah. He had a good angle, and if he were to bump the 5 a little bit fuller, he could play it in the side or the opposite corner. But he still should be fine.
And just to remind you again, this is a winner's side matchup. The format of this year's event, race to 8. And when you get to the last 32, comes race to 10.
Oh, that was an unexpected miss from Shane. He didn't really leave much for Martin, but yeah, you can see he's disappointed. It wasn't an easy ball, but he hit it pretty thick. Do you feel like he took it for granted?
Yeah, just probably overspun it a little bit sometimes, Margaret, when you know you're spinning it around the angles, the speed that you play the shot too.
Definitely.
Good containing shot, that one from Martin Daigle.
Yeah, it was very smart. Oh, Shane decided to go offensive and play the kick, play the bank shot. And he's going to pay the price for it, I believe.
It was funny walking to this match. I was in the hallway with Mark White. And he was heading over to table 1. I was heading to table 2, and Martin Daigle was right in behind us and just kind of slapped me on the back walking down. And he didn't strike me in any way, shape, or form like someone who was going to be coming into a match against Van Boening and intimidated in any way.
But you know, in the end of the day, it doesn't really matter who your opponent is. Like, as long as you give 100% in every single shot, and it's really you against you. Yeah. Who cares who's sitting at the chair? If you give this person chance to get out, then it's on you.
No, very true, Margaret. Very true. You're your own worst enemy.
Yeah.
A lot of top players know that. That's why they practice so many hours and play
absolutely.
a lot on their own. But Martin has definitely wrested momentum away from Shane at 2 apiece, and he's breaking in rack number 5. Again, a race to 8. $250,000 total purse. 60,000 up top to the winner and 40,000 to the eventual runner-up. So it's a pretty good week's work.
Oh, absolutely. I'm actually really curious to see who is going to lift the trophy by the end of the week, because there's so many good players. The competition grew so much for the last 2 years. Like, it's just everywhere you see, everywhere you look, you see such a high level of pool.
Yeah, dry break. It was a good white ball. Kept that white parked in the middle of the table.
Yeah, he actually hit it perfect. Fortunate for him, I don't think Shane can make the 1 ball. It looks like the 4 ball is blocking the pocket. Maybe not. Actually looks like it goes. Yep. It did go. Hit it a little bit too soft, wanted to play it on the bottom right corner. Yep. He's obviously unhappy with the position of the cue ball where it ended up.
That's the reason he knew he had to take the cue ball into the 3, and he had to judge it perfectly, and he didn't.
You can hear some background noise. The teams are playing. A lot of excitement going on. Now Shane's trying to figure out the solution. I wonder if he'll try to hook the white ball behind the 5. Or just play it simple like this, in the 3 ball. I like it actually.
Trying to use the 10 in the middle of the table as a blocker.
But still, it's a very difficult safety for Martin right now. Because I believe he can only see the right side of the 3 ball. And if he tries to go 2 rails up table, I believe the 7 ball is on the way. So there is a big risk to sell out in the shot. So he really has to judge the path of the cue ball. He's going for bank.
Must be able to catch the left end left side of this 3 as he looks.
It looks like it, yeah. Wow, perfectly made. Beautiful shot.
He's going to have to dial long distance on the 4 as well, but a great bank shot on the 3.
Yeah, and look at the cue ball. It's good that he didn't get hooked behind the 9. It was a risk to do so. Watch out. Oh, wow. Look at this. Look at Shane's face. Shane is like, I can't believe you got that lucky. Great shot.
He's done well.
Yeah.
I mean, remember, this is from Shane's safety.
Yeah. You know, it really depends how you feel at this moment. Like, sometimes you feel like more offensive. Sometimes you feel like you want to play safety instead of going for a bank. It's personal preference. I wouldn't say there is a right or wrong shot. It really depends how you feel at this moment. Nice shot. Cut the 7 a little bit thick, but it still went in.
Well, could have got a little bit closer to this 9.
I agree with you, but
Still expect him to get it, don't you?
absolutely. From what I've seen so far, it looks like he's a very solid player and he has a good cue ball control and good execution. So I do expect him to make this ball. Good shot, nicely done. I believe he played the shape for the side, but I'm not sure if he decides to go for it or make it in the corner. It's a, you know, it's just a choice. I would still go for the side. I think he has a, he has a pretty good angle. Nice shot.
He's not missing much. He's won the last 3 racks on the trot.
He finally got the lead.
Erased a 2-0 deficit. He's 3-2 ahead and breaking. And I'll tell you, if you have a look at Mr. Van Boening in his chair right now, he doesn't exactly exude positive body language. He's slumped down, and it doesn't look like a guy that's dying to get back to the table, does it?
Yeah, I would agree with you. But, you know, if you watch Shane, he often has this body language at the chair. He's very real, you know, he's not like robotic or trying to hide his emotions. He lets everybody knows what he's feeling and when he's frustrated or angry or doesn't feel good about the match. But, you know, it's only 3-2. It's just the beginning of the match. Race to 8 is a pretty long race, so I'm pretty sure that he's going to have more chances to get to the table. I think he's more upset about missing that 8 ball he wasn't supposed to miss. You know, when you reach a certain level like this, you always want to play perfect, but unfortunately, that's very hard to do consistently.
And Martin capable too. He's got a good break. I mean, he could string a rack or 2 together and really put Shane under pressure, much like Shane's first round match that he ended up escaping. But he was well behind to Daniel Gutenberger. Ended up winning 8-6. Martin Daigle, comfortable winner over fellow Canadian Randy Bagot.
Three balls down. Wow. That's a solid break.
Probably happy the cue ball stayed on the table
absolutely.
too.
I was just about to mention he almost lost the cue ball. It's not easy here, even though he made the 3 balls, but it's a very tough layout. I mean, he's obviously looking at going for the 1 ball and go for a thin cut. But the question is, how is he going to get position for the 2? Wow, that was a phenomenal shot. He played it with outside spin to actually go into the 2. So he wanted to bump it, but he ended up making it. And he got rewarded. Look at that. He has a good shape on the 3 and the opportunity to get another rack from Shane.
A little bit like a gymnastics routine in
yeah,
the process.
definitely.
Well, he's always been pretty animated and ultra competitive.
Speed looks good. Yeah, I think he's pretty straight on the 4. I wonder if he decides to draw back a little bit for the corner or just follow it in and play the 6 in the side pocket. Both options are available. simple draw and looks perfect. He's straight in the 6. Now, once again, he's faced with a dilemma, whether he wants to just stop it, play the 8 in the corner, draw it back for the side, draw it back to the corner. There's a lot of different options, you know, when the ball is like this in the middle of the table, like the 8. It really depends what you're comfortable with. Nicely done. Honestly, the shot on the 1 ball was phenomenal.
Well, that's 4 in a row and counting. 4-2, Martin Daigle. And Shane with a lot to think about. Again, familiar territory for him. This is just what he encountered in his opener. Can't go to the well too often. Martin, a very worthy opponent, and as I had mentioned earlier, Shane will know Martin. They've played a few times up in Canada. So rack number 7. And the French Canadian has assumed command of this match. Right, no friends at the table this time. And even though the 1 might be available, offers no positional rewards to the 2, so Shane will defend here.
Yeah, to be honest, I think Shane is probably one of the best players in the world when it comes to safeties and kicking and just moving game. He's really good at it. But it was a good intention, but I believe he left pretty easy kick shot. Great shot, look at this. Beautifully played. Looks like he's winning the crowd a little bit, right? In the beginning it seemed like everybody was rooting for Shane, but now it turned around a little.
Yeah, he's shown a lot of heart, a lot of talent.
Oh. Well, that was pretty obvious that he were to cut the 4 ball, don't you think?
Well, one thing, the 2 and the 3 at the top end of the table, Margaret, are dictating what's going on with this 1. There's just no value in going after it.
Yeah, absolutely not. It's interesting. One thing about being as famous as Shane is, of course, everybody is rooting for him. But on the other hand, there's a lot of people who want to see him lose because he's winning all the time. So people get excited when players like this start losing and they start rooting for his opponents.
A lot of people like an underdog.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just always a great story. Yeah, there's really no value of trying to make the 1 because there's nothing good can come out of it.
chance for the 1-5 here. And you'd like to leave a nice angle to get that cue ball up towards the 2 and the 3.
I believe he's straight in. He's not going to be very happy with this.
That's not it.
Well, now what he can do is he can try to send the cue ball somewhere towards where the 9 ball is or towards the center of the table and play a safe off the 2 ball. You know, try to put the cue ball behind the 7. Call the extension to give himself a little bit more time to think. Great shot. Very smart. I love doing commentary in matches like this where there's a lot of safety battles because you just learn a lot from just watching it.
Yeah, when you've got the best seat in the house and you're watching all the best players in the world, and especially when you've got an understanding of what it takes to execute these shots, Margaret, you do learn, don't you?
Absolutely. Probably one of my favorite players to learn from is Alex Pagulayan when it comes to safeties and kicking. He's so creative. It's unbelievable. It's beautiful to watch.
Alex, one of the best one-pocket players in the world, so you know he understands what it means to have a tactical side of the game, and he is one of the best.
Absolutely.
He proved it yesterday in his big win over Victor Zielinski.
Yeah.
Two-time winner of the Las Vegas Open. Alex just owned that match from the outset.
Yeah. Yeah, I was watching it. He didn't give Victor much chances, to be honest.
This is a very good shot from Van Boening on 2 counts. 1, a lock-up safety, and he's dislodged the 2 and the 3. So not easy to get this one safe.
Yeah.
And that's if he hits it.
I believe no matter what he does, he's going to separate the balls. Oh, he missed the 1. I believe he hit the 3 ball first.
Oh, he did hit
So
the 3
now,
first,
yeah,
for
now
sure.
Shane has ball in hand.
Like I said, that
It looks like he was trying to spin the cue ball. He played with a lot of right spin. It looked like it.
well, Van Boening needs this rack to stop the bleeding. The 9 looks like it goes to the corner pocket, just opposite 10. That's assuming the 9-10 aren't a combination, which they could well be. As
It really
Shane looks at
depends.
this.
Yeah, it really depends on the angle he gets for the 8. He can rather play the combination or go for the 9.
And he's got the angle to drop right behind the 9, bottom right.
Yeah, the one thing that you can't do for sure is to give up the ball in hand to Shane. This is just unforgiven mistake. And with this 10 ball, Shane is slowly coming back, and the score is 4-3.
That was a huge rack, and Van Boening had to have it. Couldn't let Martin Daigle get any further ahead. 4-3, and he's got the break in rack number 8. And speaking of breaks, we're going to take a short one right now. It's round 2. Winner's side action. Shane Van Boening, South Dakota kid, up against Martin Daigle from Quebec City in Canada. And yet another dry break from Van Boening. The break has not been a weapon to a man who has one of the biggest breaks in the game of pool.
Yeah, but to be fair, with this format, it's really hard to have advantage, you know, when you have a big break, because with the referee recommend the triangle, you know, anything can happen. So like you have no control over the rack, and it is very hard to make the ball in the break. So as a lot of pros mentioned in their recent interviews, it pretty much turned into a safety game instead of a running out game. Because there is no easy like break and run type of thing like it used to be with a template rack. The triangle completely changes the structure of the game.
Good shot there from Martin Daigle, back in perfect line.
To be honest, as long as he gets a good shape for the 4, to draw back for the 5, or stand across 2 rails, I don't see any other problems on the table.
Looks like he had an anxious moment there. Just got that one a little thick, went in easy enough, but
yeah, that's a thing about the new cloth. You know, it still has a slide. So as long as you hit in the ball not very firm, it's gonna go in off the long rail. Good speed control here.
Perfect control again, right side, nice angle. Get the cue ball nice and close to that 8.
I love that.
He is doing the business here, and could well.
It looks like 5-3 to me.
Well, this would be one of the shock results of the tournament, no doubt about it. For 5-3.
Very nicely done.
Yeah, the dry break from Shane Van Boening, and Martin Daigle never looked like he was putting a foot wrong in that clearance. Textbook from start to finish. I think Shane, because they had played before, he knew this wasn't going to be one of those matches you just show up and the expectations are high, as they always are with Shane. But he knew he was going to have to play in this, and things just haven't gone quite according to plan.
I think that 8 ball that Shane missed was very, very important, because he really let Martin to get more table time, to get more comfortable at the table, and kind of gain a little bit confidence, you know. And now, look, he is 5-3 ahead, and we'll see how it goes from there. He's been breaking really well so far. Except this one probably jinxed him.
I don't believe he's left a shot at the one, but
I don't think he did. I wonder if Shane decides to go for it, or he would play it safe. I remind you that players have 60 seconds after the break to think a little bit more about the position, to see the situation at the table. Yeah, he's going for it. Beautiful shot.
well, that's the best shot Van Boning's played for me.
Yep, absolutely agree with you.
There haven't been many, but he had to spin that with a lot of inside spin to get the cue ball and miss contacting the 3. Drop perfectly onto the 2. A highlight shot for Van Boning.
Ooh. That looked like he almost missed the 3.
Here's the shot though, Margaret. He's got to get from the 4 back down for the 5.
A lot of backspin, 3 rails. 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Another superb
Great speed
shot.
control. This is where it's very important to have good fundamentals, just to be able to let the stroke out. Good shot by Shane. Of course, he would prefer to have a slide angle on the 6 ball. He's way too straight, so now he's going to either follow it a little bit or just play a simple stop shot. Yep, just keep it simple. Oh, this is actually the second shot that he missed that, like, we couldn't even predict he would do that. The 8 ball and the 7 ball. And to be honest with you, you cannot afford mistakes like this when you play an opponent like Martin, because he can punish you for that.
And I think this is crunch time. If Martin Daigle secures these last 4 balls and a 6-3 advantage.
Yeah, because it's a very dangerous scoreline, like this 5-3 race to 8, because look, he's going to run out here, right? Like most of the time, and then he's breaking. So a good break is going to put him on the hill. And 6-3 versus 5-4 is a huge score difference. Taking advantage of Shane's mistake and extending his lead.
Yeah, unforced errors. They can be a killer. And Van Boning right now has so many negative thoughts swirling in his head. He's a champion.
I'm actually really curious looking at Shane now, what's going through his mind.
The key to success, though, you got to have a short memory.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You got to forget all those mistakes. Can't change what's happened.
Yeah, you got to be present. That's the most important thing.
Yep, got to affect what's coming.
Because he's going to get a chance at the table. You just got to be ready for it. Doing some stretches.
Well, from this point, Shane effectively has to beat Martin 5-1 to win the match.
This looks like a dry break for Martin. He's got a pretty decent cue ball, I have to admit. When he's breaking, he always seems to control it very well in the center of the table. It's like he's going for it. Oh my God, shot for nothing. He's got a roll. Can he see the two ball? No, he can't. He didn't.
I think
Uh-oh.
Shane is a touch of desperation in how he's attacking now. Or resignation, take your pick. But I mean, even that shot.
I feel like sometimes when you're behind, you kind of have to create an opportunity. So sometimes you have to be offensive just in order to make something good happen at the table. Ooh, this does not look good.
Yeah, Shane can perk up in his chair a bit now.
Yeah, that was a big mistake by Martin. If he were to take the opportunity of this rack and clear it up, he would be breaking on the hill, and then you never know. It's all about the good break from there on. Misjudged the kick shot and gave up the ball in hand to Shane, which we talked about it already. Can't do it. Very unfortunate from Martin. I really wanted to see him get on the hill first and see how the situation
How
plays.
Shane handled it?
Yeah.
Well, it's a very similar score line. I think it might have been 5-2 or even 6-2 against Daniel Gutenberger.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And then Boening found that gear. He's hoping the history repeats itself.
Nice shot for the 8. Perfect cue ball control. And I believe he's going to go around the 10 and play it in the top right corner. Nicely done. And Shane is taking advantage of Martin's mistake.
There's a crowd that's trying to will their champion on a bit. 6-4. Loud applause, and Martin Daigle is taking a quick break, so we'll join it and take one as well. Welcome back. Van Boening quickly into the rack and quickly Martin Daigle out of his chair. Ball in hand. That is not the way SVB wanted to start the back end of this match.
Interesting layout, to be honest with you. Can't say it's really difficult. I mean, I believe if you leave yourself a good angle on the 1, just stun it somewhere towards the middle of the table, play the 2 in a corner. I would say the most important is get a decent angle on the 3 so you can draw back for the 5. You don't want to leave yourself too big of an angle for the 5 because where the 6 ball is. And then from there, everything is pretty doable, especially for a player of higher caliber like these guys are. Looks like he's pretty straight, right? From this camera angle, yeah.
Straight back for the 5.
Draw it back.
Wants a little angle here to get that cue ball off that cushion.
I like this angle for the 5. It's perfect. Uh-oh. It was a little too hard, but he's still all right. Can cut it in the side and let the cue ball travel 3 rails for the 7. The most important is to not get the contact with the 10, because the 10 can really spoil the plans for the shape of the 7. He's gonna really try to avoid the 10. Or what he can do, he can even go 2 rails, long rail, short rail with the inside spin and shape for the 7. This way you won't even be close to the 10. Oh, okay. He decides to go the other way. Kind of like short position for the 7. You know what would be really cool to have? To have like a tablet where we can draw the path of the cue ball. And then
it's called a telestrator.
Yeah.
We're going to try and put that into the budget for you next time.
That would be amazing. And then so like our viewers can see it on the screen.
Sure, you can draw the lines
Yeah,
that the cue ball can take.
Mm-hmm.
Nice little weapon to have when you're doing commentary,
Yeah,
believe me.
because I'm always like trying to point on the screen to figure out what they're doing. But then I realize that nobody sees that.
Well, a little straight on this 9, so just got to get the cue ball over to the right-hand side to attack the 10. He's just letting everybody know that he's not terribly pleased with where the cue ball's finished. Well, this is a big shot for Martin Daigle. Get to the hill.
Yeah, very important to hit it soft. You know, you don't want to punch the ball in. Especially when you have an angle like this. He decides to get up, settle himself down a little bit. And he made it.
And deposit that 10 right into the throat of the pocket. Martin Daigle, come on down. This is your time. 7-4 over Shane Van Boening on center stage. Is day 2 going to be a memorable one for this Canadian? Looking that way. He'll break for the last time in the match. And Van Boening now can afford no more mistakes, no more hiccups. He's going to stay unscathed in this event. He's going to have to find some form and find it fast.
The referee is making sure that the rack is perfectly frozen.
Always important. You want a total displacement of the balls.
Yep.
So here we go. What he wouldn't give for a good break right now. He's had a few.
Yeah, honestly, all you can do is to focus on the tip position, hitting the one ball square. Oh wow, that's interesting. For the first time in the match, he changes the position of the cue ball because he had several dry breaks, so he decides to perform the cut break, which when you do this one from the side rail, you're looking for making the one ball in the side. But it didn't work this time for Martin, and he left the opening for Shane.
Man, a great opening. Chance at the one. Maybe you should have left the cue ball where it was.
It was interesting to see, like, the last moment he just second guessed himself and changed the position of the cue ball for the break. But you know, his gut told him to do that, and sometimes you just gotta follow it. And to be fair, when you break in this format, when you break in from the side rail, you actually give yourself more chances to win the rack, because even if you do break dry, the position is not that wide open. Compared to when you break from the middle of the table, if you don't make the ball, you pretty much sell out the whole position to your opponent.
I think Shane's mannerisms speak volumes right now. He has really been out of sorts in this match, and due in part to as well as Martin Daigle has played. I mean, there have been a lot of mistakes from Van Boening, it's fair to say, but
it's a beautiful shot.
Daigle has risen to the occasion. And a good shot, good containing shot, that one from Shane, but again, from a position that he feels like he should still be at the table. Well, he'll call that corner pocket. 2 cushions to try and deposit that 3.
Oh, wow, he was so close to a scratch. He's gonna be happy with this result for sure. Look at this. This does not look good for Shane. Well, Martin has to figure out how to get to the 4. And this is pretty much the key shot of the rack.
Yeah, I see a couple fans in the background just almost looking in disbelief, Margaret. Just shaking their heads. Well, their eyes don't deceive them. They can see it unfolding right before them.
He actually did really good.
And if he can park that cue ball roughly where the 4 is now, it's going to be ideal on the 5.
Yeah, I agree. It looks like he's pretty straight on the 4 to me from this camera angle. Yeah. Just a soft stop shot. Uh-oh.
Well, there was some body movement there.
Yeah. It got him this time.
He was up off the cue way too early there.
Yeah. See, that's the thing, like we were talking about this like perfect fundamentals earlier, and the thing is you can play a really high level pool, you know, with like a little jabbier stroke or like getting up and moving up and down on the ball, but when it comes to high pressure situation, when you get excited, that's where good fundamentals really play a role, because it allows you to settle down and perform the shot even under the high pressure.
Yeah, he was a little fortunate to get it safe. And
I agree,
Shane
definitely.
puts his hand in his pocket as he walks back to the chair. Sometimes you just have to take your medicine.
Nothing much he could do here, honestly. To slow roll the 4 because obviously the 5 ball didn't go in the top right, so he had to play in the bottom right corner. It's fascinating to me that he was actually able to spin the 4 ball on such a long distance.
At that speed?
Yeah. Honestly, I would personally play it simple, just topspin. But, you know, because of this right-hand English, he was able to create a better angle for himself.
Here's another shot. Imperative that he stays still.
Yeah. Stunned across the table for the 7. Well done. I can see he's feeling it for sure right now. He's 4 balls away of beating arguably one of the best players in the world on the TV table in front of a huge crowd, and this is exactly what I was talking about. Oh my God. Drama.
What kept that ball on the table?
It's not over yet.
Yeah, just Shane, it just doesn't look like anything is going right at all for Shane right now. He's fighting it.
Yeah, he still was able to manage it. Great shot by Shane. That was a miracle for him to be able to even come back to the table. Absolute miracle.
Listen to the fans, they're not ready to go home just yet, but Martin Daigle has to feel that he had 1 foot over the finish line. He just had to drag himself over, but look at that miss. How did that stay on the table, he's asking himself. And you want the picture of a suffering man? You just saw it. And Shane Van Boening, it's life after death. He's got the chance now to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. And how difficult will it be for Martin Daigle? Will he get another chance? Will he get another one as good as the one he just threw away? And is Shane that much stronger because he feels he's playing a man? Just can't quite get over the finish line. So many storylines. And Van Boening still can't buy a ball. Well, he got one off the break this time, and actually this looks pretty good. I was looking for a ball. There it is, the 3 in the top corner. I didn't see anything go down, but he landed nicely on the one. I thought, oh, the same storyline, but no, a chance for Van Boening. I'll tell you one thing, when you're parked in your chair, Martin Daigle right now, with every ball that Van Boening makes, he gets closer to overcoming that lead. It is going to be difficult for Martin Daigle to swallow. His mouth is going to taste like sandpaper.
Absolutely. I don't know how about you, but I do believe in pool guides, and I feel like sometimes when you miss the opportunity to close up the match, it seems like everything's going against you after that. It's almost like pool guides are punishing you for not using your opportunity to finish the rack.
You see Martin Daigle leaning over right behind Shane Van Boning's cue.
Doesn't look like an ideal angle for the 8. It looks like he's like a little bit too straight. Oh, he's all right. It's good that he used his extension so he can actually reach balls like this. Go on 2 rails.
Well, Margaret, I hope you've buckled in because this roller coaster ride isn't over yet.
Absolutely.
7-6. And you start to feel like this one is going to go right down to the last ball.
Like you said, you gotta have a short memory, and Martin, I hope that he does, because this mistake, it can eat you alive from the inside, you know. Just hope he doesn't allow it to mentally break him. He looks pretty calm.
Yeah, he's just had a big chunk of chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
Something to take his mind off recent events.
Yeah, you know, just focus on present and chewing on something. I mean, it's one of the tricks that you can use for sure. Kind of like take your thoughts away from what just happened.
Shane would love to have an instant replay of the break he just had. And he might have just got it.
Yeah.
He's taken a lot of power off the break, Margaret, not even close to as hard as Van Boening can hit them. And he's found the measure of the table.
Yeah. You know, it's all about adapting to different conditions. Best players in the world can adapt the best. So they eventually figured it out. The 9 ball is kind of tricky. Do you think he would try to bump the 9 right now? Going from 6 to the 7?
I'd be taking that cue ball awful close to that side pocket.
Yeah. No, he's not gonna go for it, according to his tip position. I'm actually very curious what's going through his mind and how he is going to solve this situation. Does the 8 ball go off the 9 in the side? The 9 ball looks a little too far from the side pocket. Oh, okay. Keeping it simple, I guess.
He's got to be careful here.
Yeah, he's not sure about that.
He knows it too.
Mm-hmm.
This is tricky.
Very, very tricky. Beautiful shot. And the crowd goes wild.
Oh, they will if he gets to 7-7. And he has.
Well,
7-7, Margaret. I don't think many would have predicted that score.
it's getting more and more interesting, that's for sure.
He's won the last 3 in a row. And now, one more good break. He doesn't want to sit down now, does he?
Definitely not.
All in front of him. And you talk about an escape, a great escape.
For the second time already. The first match was very similar situation. He was like 6-3 down, I believe, and then he just used a few opponents' mistakes in his advantage and managed to come back and then beat the guy 8-6, I believe. Nicely done. He put a lot of power into this one. The mentality is when it doesn't go my way, I'm just gonna hit it hard and pray for some balls to find a way to the pockets. Because to be honest with you, when it is a referee rack with a triangle format, there's not everything in your control. And sometimes you hit them perfect and you still don't make a ball, right? So you can't really control which balls you're going to make. So you have to hit it hard and just pray for something good to happen.
One thing's for certain, it looks like Daigle is going to get out of his chair. That wasn't Shane's best positional shot unless he's going to try and flick this in off the side cushion, which is a possibility.
Yeah, Shane is using a nice aiming system to kind of like mirror the distance between the ball and the rail. He's gonna call the 2-ball.
High risk, high reward.
That's actually a good shot because even if you miss it, beautiful shot. Even if you miss this ball, you're still gonna leave a safety option.
Well, I take it back. I said that Daigle was going to be getting out of his chair. Maybe not.
It all depends on this one shot from 3 to the 4. Well,
4-8 combination possible?
um,
Certainly the safety. A very real possibility.
yeah, I think he will be able to stick him behind the 8 if he decides to play safe. Just roll the 4-ball forward. Is he really gonna go offensive in this situation? But, you know, who am I to judge? Yeah, this is exactly the shot I was thinking about.
It's been a while since Martin Daigle has come to the table. And he's welcomed the total eclipse. So he's going to have to negotiate this escape.
Yeah, in this one, it's always good to go to rails instead of 1 because there's so much more good things that can come out of it. And if you go 2 rails, you can actually get a shape for the next ball, which is 6. Let's see what he left. Oh, wow, you can see him slamming his cue. He's obviously upset. Left the opening for Shane, and he knows that Shane for sure is going to use it. Uh-oh. Wow, to be honest, like, his bridge was very awkwardly short. He was bridging off the rail. It was way too short.
A very different look for him.
Yeah.
For sure.
He usually uses a long bridge almost all the time. So I feel like he was just almost like uncomfortable in this shot. Well, Martin definitely got his shot again, and it was a beautiful kick shot with a perfect control. Couldn't do any better.
Yeah, everybody, it's white knuckle time out there. These are very tense moments if you're a Van Boening fan.
I would call the 10 in the side, just in case.
Yeah, this is a chance, another chance for Martin Daigle to seal the deal.
It is not easy, but it is doable. Pretty good speed. He would probably prefer the cue ball to roll a little bit further, but you know, that will do. Now just really stay present and focus on making the 6.
And stay still.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my goodness. It did look like he missed it. I see, that's the thing, like if you go into the rail with a new cloth on a wider angle, as long as you don't jab at the ball, it's going to go in. Ooh, that can get really tricky. Look at Shane. I think he knows that he still might have a chance.
Natural angle is going to take this cue ball over to the other side.
Yeah, so he's playing with low outside. Oh God, I really don't like the shots on the new cloth. Nope. This one is not going to go in. Look at all the people's reaction. Oh my God. He really did let Shane to get away with it twice. He's gonna feel horrible.
The pillow will feel like a brick tonight when Martin's hand hits it.
I bet.
Well.
Oh, that was weird. Nice face, Shane. Well, now you have to go for the bank. No, I honestly, he crushed it. He absolutely crushed it. And there is like, I can't even look for an excuse.
The crowd lets you know how they feel. An escape act that Houdini would have been proud of. Shane Van Boening, an 8-7 winner over Martin Daigle. Tough lines for the Canadian. Well done to Van Boening. And Margaret, that was quite one to commentate on, wasn't it?
That was unbelievable. That was so exciting, and I hope you guys enjoy it just as much as we did.
Well, it was a lot of fun, folks. We're going to be back with a lot more action, but for Margaret, I'm Jim. We'll be talking to you again soon.
See you later.